everybody? It's the Gulls Nest baseball podcast here live. As always, Arty 84 and my beloved co-host, Adam DeMallet, to the left of me.
Hello.
How's everyone doing tonight? We have a big show tonight. We're actually bringing in Mike Falcone. He's the operations director of the Newport Gulls. He's going to be joining us in a second, and we're going to be talking some baseball talk and basically what we're going to be doing for the entire season. And Adam, as you know, the season doesn't start till June, but we decided we're going to pioneer this thing, and we're going to be talking some off-season baseball talk.
Yes, it's going to be a fun ride. Please join us.
All right, so after this break, we're going to be bringing in Mike Falcone, operations director of the Newport Gulls. We'll see you then. Boom.
Hey.
What's up, Mike? Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Not bad. I'm shaking.
You're kind of our first guest, technically. I'm excited. This is a lot of fun, actually. I'm actually really looking forward. I just feel like it's games like that are just the collegiate league is just it's good for families. It's good for people who just like baseball in general. So it's just a good time. All in all, it's inexpensive. It's a good, like, kids can learn about the game and fans can enjoy a good baseball game. Like, I've always actually enjoyed going.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. That's why we like it. Yeah, fun. I'm glad you guys are pumped to do this because we do have, we don't have a hell of a lot going on in the off season in terms of content production. This podcast thing is kind of something that, I was telling Arty, I'm sure he told you, like, we were just thinking about it in the last couple months. Then he kind of popped up, with an email, and it was like, right place, right time, sort of. But what are some of your expectations? What are some of the stuff about the Gulls? Something like that. I think it would be a fun conversation and chat.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Well, I can start off with you guys. Arty 84 here, lifetime baseball fan and a lover of all leagues for the most part, I guess. I've actually found out about the NECBL probably a couple of years ago when we were looking for ball games to go to in the summertime, right after kind of like 2021. Of course, we get the minor league teams around here and all that stuff, but like for the weekends, love going to ball games on Saturdays and Sundays. So, and I found out about this league because a long time ago we were going to the North Shore Bulldogs, the Lynn Bulldogs. What the hell? That's the original team from back in the day. And then you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, the Mass Mad Dogs. That's what they were originally called. So we were going like
Mad Dogs. That's a hell of a name.
Yeah, they were like this old. There was like almost an independent league, I think, at this point. They were playing at Fraser Field of Lynn, where the Navigators play now. But we'd go to games all the time as kids because my granddad lived down the street, and it was like nice easy day for baseball, right? Yeah. And as I started getting into the collegiate league probably 10 years ago, going down to the Cape and watching the Cape Cod League and stuff. There's so much baseball to be played in the summertime in New England, which is great. And the best part about these leagues, I think personally, is that you get to see talent that's either drafted or about to be drafted, or planning to be drafted. And these kids are playing their ass off, in college ball just to try to get some, extra playing time as much as they can, just so they can, scouts can see them and they can even perfect their, craft even better, which is awesome to see because it's you watching, kids play that actually, give a crap about what's going on, and it's serious business for them. And it's a little more fun sometimes than watching the pros play who, just collecting a check sometime, so it's entertaining ball. You get to see a lot of skills. I personally think it's fun to bring the kids to. It's fun to bring the families to because it's like you said, it's inexpensive than it is going to a big ball game, and you're still getting a quality, performance as well, which is great, my opinion. But for the years, I'm telling you, I've been to every ball stadium, major league in the league. I had a goal before I was 30, hit them all up. I did that, and I haven't stopped. Now we're doing the minor league stadiums and the independent league stadiums and now the collegiate league stadiums. So it's just fun to watch ball, and then I met Adam, God, how many years ago? Probably 15 years ago.
It's been about 15 years.
Yeah.
I remember I joked with his wife before about how I'm like, I see, because we work in an office together during the daytime too. And it's like, you realize I see your husband more than you do.
Yeah, which is true.
And she's like, you can keep him.
But yeah, for years, the greater part of our other podcast that we were doing was majority, to be honest, it was baseball talk. Probably 15 minutes, of the hour.
Yeah, we would start with like roundtable, but it would always then end up gravitating, I feel like, towards sports because we get like as a child of the '90s, like I'm, '90s baseball, early 2000s baseball. My God, that was just
the juice ball era.
That was great. Come on,
Yeah,
everybody, it was
remember
great. It was an awesome time. It was an awesome.
Remember John Rocker? What he was saying about it?
Oh, that
like,
nutcase!
I mean, yes, yeah. I'm not condoning. I'm not condoning.
I know, yeah. We don't need to repeat anything John Rocker said for sure, but I feel like
he did have a point with, hey, everybody should be doing this because it was the most exciting, couple seasons there were with the home run race between Sammy and McGuire.
You're right. If there's anything positive John Rocker said, it was just that.
It's the one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm a Mets fan, so we dealt. I know, and now it's unfortunate, but I saw a funny clip today, like on Instagram or whatever, and it's like Mets fans. It's like a fishing rod and the bait going. It's like Mets fans every year. I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not going to take the bait, and then we just dive right in. And we're all
I know for me, baseball has always been like, all right, so in every sport, take the most tense scenario you could be in. Like maybe football, it's, clock winding down, one play left in the red zone. Is it going to be a touchdown? Baseball, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases loaded, winning run or tying run and scoring position. That there is nothing more tense when you break down any other sport than that moment in baseball. And that is because it's like everything else is controlled by a clock. So there could be a foul ball. Oh God. By the 4th foul ball, you're chomping at the bit. Like, can we just do this? And the suspense is just like so dialed up that you're just like, oh my God, here we got 3 balls. So like, fucking foul ball again. God damn it. Right? And then it just elevates it to the point where it's just like, I don't feel that kind of energy in any sport when the moment gets tense. And it's like, that is like the best moment,
Well, I think that every moment boils down to that almost in baseball. There's so much. I mean, there's so much riding on every single pitch that
it's true.
The game can change so significantly. Like a 1-0 ball game, if you have a home run in the 2nd inning, like that's the game right there. You get up from your seat and that's the game right there. So that's my love for it for sure. We all have our affliction and when we fell in love with the game and all of that, but that's one of the things I tell people as we, I guess not as kids are starting not to watch it or people, give me the, hey, isn't it boring? That
right.
Not, it's life or death, every pitch, basically.
It's true. No, it's definitely true. But I'm just saying that's the one single moment that as a child, like, wow, like this is different than the other sports. Like I actually like this a lot. You know what I mean? When I realized like, okay, baseball is really cool. I will say over the last 5 years or 10 years, so I feel like the game has changed in a way. Maybe it's because being a spoiled Red Sox fan for quite a bit of time in the rivalries, now that's kind of dialed down a little. It's sort of like, oh, this ownership, come on,
I think that the point that we're talking about here is kind of to Arty's point. Like these kids are coming. I mean, you and I and all 3 of us played baseball, but we were never to the level of these guys. So I call us regular people. So us regular people had internships in the summertime. Because because you go to school. This is kind of the analogy I always use. You go to school for X amount of months, 9 months, 8 months out of the year. When you work a full-time job, that's 12 months out of the year. That's every day, 9 to 5, you're going. School is, a couple classes here and there. When you play college baseball, you're playing 50 games, 60 games. There's some travel, but once you get into in-league stuff, in conference, you're staying within a pretty, good area here. When you go to the major leagues, 162 games plus spring training. I mean, that's that. So you play your college ball season, then you come to do your internship with these summer leagues and you play another 40 games in 10 weeks. Well, let's see who's made for this. Let's see who the cream rises to the top. Let's see who can really do this over a long period of time. Go to North Adams, Massachusetts, or Newport's a little we're a little spoiled here in Newport, but let's
nice
send,
down there.
but let's send to a random, because in the minor leagues you're shipped off to Spokane, Washington, Little Rock, Arkansas, wherever it is. Play all these games, and then can you do it over this long period of time? So that's kind of what these summer leagues present.
Which actually brings me right into my next point, where Arty was talking to me about this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I went on the website, like, whoa, these guys, like, so since 2001, you guys have seven championships, and that's no easy thing to do. And you guys they were still relatively new then. I know you guys started with Cranston around 98, but and then in 01, but you're still relatively young compared to some other ones, but you guys have managed to just nail it. And so like what makes the Gulls different, I would say, than any other team? Like, what are you guys doing so good? That managed to, like, no, seriously though, I don't mean to like it sound like I'm trying to kiss your ass or anything.
The numbers are there.
It's impressive.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been around for since those days, but and that's what I always say too when I'm trying to introduce the Gulls, right? So I'm out doing our sponsorship stuff, doing our marketing stuff, all those things, and it's like me as a Met fan, I compare the Gulls very much to the Yankees. We're kind of the evil empire type of thing, with the most championships. So and I say it tongue in cheek, but to your point, proof is in the pudding, proof is in the numbers. So yeah, seven championships. I mean, I think that the relationships that Chuck Pava, Chris Patsos, our general manager, our vice president, so Chris, who was on the show, for the first episode, the premiere. I think the relationships that they've developed throughout college baseball is equal to the environment that they've created here in Newport, right? Yeah. So the team that wins, and you guys are going to see this, being on the front lines this upcoming summer. The team that wins is not always the most talented club. It's the team that wants to be here. So if you're treating your kids well, you're feeding them well, you have good amenities while they're in your community. They have a nice gym. You have good host families. You kind of create this culture. And kids want to stay and want to win for the name on the front, not the back, and really care about it. That's the team who wins. So we've had talented teams throughout this 20 some odd years that are way more talented and filled with draft picks and so on and so forth that haven't won championships. But teams like last year, like the 2023 team, like those guys wanted it. They were not going back to their respective colleges and universities without getting the ring. So that's, I think, really the culture and the relationships that those guys have created is what I would put a testament to.
So that's interesting. You said that with host families. So the NECBL is run like some most college league where you have these host families that will volunteer to take these kids in. Because I always wondered how that works, because obviously if you send these kids up to a foreign land, they could be, from California at this point and going to play on, like Stanford, Maine or somewhere up there in no one's land, right? North Adams, like you were saying, because these families really are into baseball and really into taking the, bringing in these kids. Like a lot of them are empty nesters too. Like the kids are gone and they just want to bring some people in because they like, going to the games and stuff, which is great. And I think that it's like my friend was saying, it's an experience you'll never forget, because it was like a second family you'll never forget. Basically, we took them in for the summer, just for the month, 2.5 months that they're down there playing and everything. But what I was interested in knowing about is like you said, 7 championships, super impressive. The rosters change all the time. Now, is there a draft, or do you guys have first dibs on plays you had prior years? How does that work when you getting your team together?
It's a great question.
So the rosters, surprisingly, there's not much. It is kind of like the wild west with players. So there's no official draft. There's no official free agency pool. Although somebody should trademark this. I think that's be a good idea. Is there should be some sort of database that helps update those things. Whether that's going to happen or not. But no, it's basically just relationship wise. Hey, I know the coach at, so-and-so university, Mike Falcone. Hey, Chris Patsos. Hey, Chuck Pava. Hey, Arty. I got this right-handed pitcher. Going to be a sophomore from blah, blah. I think he's going to be really good. I would love to send him over to you this year. Hey, I got, so-and-so from Vanderbilt goes, hey, I got boom, 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 boom. I think they would be great fits for you. which ones do you want? Hey, I got so right now we're at about we're at 40 player rosters, 40 man rosters, and I'd say like 30 of those players are coming from schools that we have those relationships with. If you look from year to year, there's always a couple players from Louisville. There's always a couple players from Vanderbilt. There's always a couple players from, these schools that will get a couple from each year. So it's very relationship driven. And then, those other 10 players thereabouts are guys that will go out and, chuckle scan the all-star teams from the Coastal Plains League or the Perfect Game League or this or that, and then see kind of go out and hunt these guys down and call up the coach from, Middle Tennessee State, where maybe we don't have a great relationship with the guy just yet, but then we'll kind of say, hey, is so-and-so available? Yeah, we do this with the Newport Gulls, would he be interested in coming up? We think it's a good fit, so on and so forth. So that's kind of the how those rosters get changed, but yeah, that's why it's so difficult from a winning perspective. But and at the end of the day, I mean, we're not here to win, basically. It's community driven. We want to put out a good product for the fans. Yes, I've seen spikes in attendance when we are winning, when we get into the playoffs and such. But whether the team is 3-20 or 20-3, those attendance numbers and that following is going to be pretty similar, because they want to have the family fun. They want to go eat the hot dog with the sunset in Newport. They don't, the fans not as much. Yeah, it definitely helps, but that's what I, for roster wise, that's kind of the mix of it.
So how's the process? Well, I was curious. So I'm sorry. You get a guy, you like him, you tell him to come in. Now, how's the process? You a couple phone calls with him? Do you bring him down to tryouts? So I'm a guy. I'm a sophomore playing for East Tennessee State University, and you guys reached out to me, and now do you come give me a call? Do you call? Do you tell me take a ride up to Newport, Rhode Island? Do you send a guy down? Nothing. It's kind of blindly, just kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's that. You're going on your relationships, really. Yep. You're going on the coach at the college, because these guys recruit. I mean, these guys if they're on their team, they know them really, really. They already did the betting process. They already did that.
That's true. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true.
The numbers are there. That's another point of baseball, is like the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah, don't lie.
Yep. I think love baseball too is that they're playing for how many games. This isn't just hey, he played 15 games the last year, he's pretty good. So yeah, there's really no because also there's no time to do that, right? I mean, maybe for some of the local guys we'll have seen them just in games because we're baseball nuts and we're going to go to URI's game, we're going to go to Bryant's game, we're going to go to BC's game, and maybe BC played another ACC opponent. And wow, who's that guy? Oh, we should look into him for that next year. Little things like that. But it's so much of, hey Adam, who do you? Oh, hey, that guy over there you saw? Oh, we have a kid come from Northeastern. While we're on the phone with the Northeastern coach, hey, you guys played Belmont. How is so and so? You got to if you can get that kid, you got to take that kid. So it's very much that word of mouth piece. It goes back to community where, hey, is he a good kid? If we're sticking him with a host family for 2 months. 2.5 months. Hey, how is he in the dorm rooms? How is he in the classroom? How is he there? I mean, we know what the numbers say. Right. What does the other side say?
That makes sense, because you don't want to get off a problem. You don't want any issues. And these host families are volunteering, I'm assuming, right? Taking these kids in. So you don't want to, you just don't want to ruffle any feathers in the future going on to that. So it makes completely sense. And I think baseball is a very disciplined sport. I think it's a sport where it's very number driven, like you said. I think it involves a lot of head strength rather than physical strength, because a lot of these guys, it's just a matter of just going out there and doing your best as you can. Pitches, that's a whole nother story. Thinking of what they have to deal with statistics in the head and stuff like that. And, it's a game where the numbers could be against you for a little while, and you're going to be on a little bit of a weird streak. But, if you're statistically that good, then the numbers won't lie, and you'll eventually get out of your slump if you can figure it out. Which I think is the most probably it's almost like I compare baseball in the out of gambling to like kind of like poker or no, blackjack rather, where you can kind of, if you're really good at knowing the cards that are coming out and you kind of know what's going on statistically, it's in your favor if you're that talented and you can do it. But
yeah,
I'm not
I just
really
think
guys, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Catch me never at Encore.
Yeah,
I just
right.
happened to be looking up some attendance numbers. I was curious here because you mentioned it, and I was like very again impressive average of 2,093. That's better than some Oakland A's games.
It's better than most Central games. Absolutely.
We were gonna throw that stat up early in the year because
should.
they were in the beginning of this season, especially. It was getting rough, huh?
You can easily say to some of these guys, like, listen, you're attracting more people than the Oakland A's.
Which is pretty. Listen, there's nothing wrong. Newport in the summer is probably one of the best places to go in New England. To be honest, my sister got married there in June a few years back, and it is the most beautiful place.
It is beautiful
in New England. I would, it's great because you're on vacation. You have the kids, you have the family. What are we gonna do? I don't know. We could only do so much during the day. Oh, let's go see a ball game. It's cheap. It's entertaining. And it's affordable, close to the downtown area, right? It's a historic stadium, so if you're a little bit of baseball nerd, you get to indulge in that. And it's who doesn't have fun at a baseball game? Even kids that don't understand what's going on. There's so much going on during the game, and then you get the popcorn, the cotton candy, you get all that stuff, which just makes it even better. And then the parents can have a beer, and everyone has a good night. It's and I'm sure you guys do. Do you guys do fireworks every once in a while at the games?
We don't do fireworks. No, the city does it on 4th of July.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
We'll be playing Keene this year on the 4th of July.
That's right.
Yeah, unfortunately, where we're the proximity to residential area to commercial area, we can't do much in terms of fireworks.
That could be, I can see that being problematic to the people living in those mansions down there. They would probably be a little frowned upon, the pyrotechnics. So the amateur pyrotechnics be going down the street.
They do them out in the harbor for July 4th, or it depends on the. Sometimes they don't do it on July 4th, 3rd, 5th, whatever. But they do them out in the harbor, and we play, and there's a nice view from if you stand up in the ball in the yard. I think that you guys kind of hopping in questions about the organization, the history of it. I think that just for our viewers, you guys are kind of coming in with a bunch of experience in the media world, in the podcast world. You guys have been doing this together for a decade.
Wow. Yeah, it's a marriage, Arty.
I was gonna say, like legally, you guys are married, right? Isn't that how it works?
You might as well
be together. It'd be common
what's
law.
it called? Common
law. Common law marriage. Yeah.
So you already had reached out to us, just to give it a little backstory, because you guys are gonna be kind of running with this thing now through the off season into the season.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice for our folks to kind of hear the little, not that it's crazy of a story, but reaching out, baseball nuts, kind of saw the Gulls, and I think it's a good pairing. You guys are passionate about it.
You got to have fun with it. If you're not having fun, then why are you doing it? You know what I mean? You got to have some fun with this.
Mike, what's your relationship with the Gulls? So you've been with the Gulls since 2017. Did you have a prior relationship with them? Were you playing with them, or did you kind of come across it?
No.
We were wondering if you were a former player. We were
not good enough to play for the boys. No, I wasn't good enough to play at Salve, let alone. They gave me a jersey over there, but I interned. I went to Salve Regina in Newport.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So interned with the team. And in 2016, and then I was returning to Salve for my master's, 5th-year program. And so I was in Newport, and I just kind of kept pestering these guys. Hey, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And they had the Hall of Fame that we're hosting on the 16th. They were doing that event in the fall. So they said, hey, you can help us, get some silent auction donations. You can help us with this and that. And that was kind of, the first little tidbit I had. And then the individual I was supposed to be one of the guys who's going in, Nick Lima. was the director of baseball operations. It was supposed to be him and I, kind of two-headed monster, ops director, assistant ops director, and then he, because this is a nonprofit organization, he was moving on to a little greener pasture into a field that he wanted to be in. Cranston city government, was, looking to get his family going and his career going. He wasn't a college student like I was. So he took that opportunity. I moved into the director role, and here we are.
It's a great story. I mean, it's because it's
9 years later.
Yeah. I mean, these organizations are cool because it's like they're almost at this point around like a family, because you have a lot of people who are just working with them who did there all the time, and it's awesome. And then the Hall of Fame thing, is this something exclusive to the Gulls, or do other teams do something similar to this that you have your knowledge?
I'm not sure how many teams do it, frankly. Maybe one or two, to be honest. I know that the Valley Blue Sox do a Western Massachusetts Hall of Fame for just folks who have been in the baseball, industry and either played in high school or college ball or something in that area. But it's not specific to the Blue Sox.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry I don't have that answer completely for you. I mean, maybe Keene or Vermont or somebody who's been doing this for a long time has one, but no, the Gulls are unique in that sense that we definitely have a strong group in that Hall of Fame, and something that Chuck Pava, Chris Patsos, the rest of the board of directors, Mark, Greg, Ron, are all very passionate about continuing, because it is important. There's a lot of folks who have contributed. You said it's a family.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not only the players, but it's folks on the other side of it, on the operational side, on the media side, who have contributed countless hours and countless nights at the ballpark and nights in the office to making it what it is. So they need to be recognized accordingly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I know I was listening, Arty filled me in earlier, you guys, the conversation you had earlier, and I know that you mentioned how, guys get drafted. It could be like during the season, and, you guys could be, again, making a run or something, and you guys get a player, lose a player. And I know, and as you guys said, that, that's always the most important thing, that, they got drafted, and that is great. But is there a tiny, I mean, we're all competitive. We're human beings. So is there a part of you that's like, oh, man, how am I going to, what is the process when a player gets drafted? And it's like, how am I going to fill this spot? I'm just more curious about this, because I've actually never really understand.
It is unique. It's unique. Well, and now more than ever, the draft is in July. So previously we didn't have to deal with this. We dealt with the draft in June, right before the season, right in the first week of the season. So we didn't have to deal with this.
Okay. Yeah.
We also didn't have to deal with the transfer portal too, which is free agency in itself.
Oh God.
Basically, yeah. It's a
two things so that's why I think it's even more impressive that, the guys were able to build this roster last year to combat that, because building the roster, Adam. So how do we get ready for that? Is that 40-man roster? That's why we went from 30 to 32 to 35 to 40, because we know we're going to get guys drafted. We know we're going to get guys. Even step back, we know we're going to lose guys mid-season, end of season, to innings limits, to school going and starting up, to, hey, I'm homesick, I want to go see my girlfriend, I haven't seen her in forever. We're always going to lose guys, but now we're going to lose another handful to the portal, to getting drafted mid-season. So you have to plan for that in the beginning of the year. You got to have 3 second basemen, 3 catchers.
Yeah. Is the writing sometimes kind of on the wall for some of these players? It's like, okay, this guy, I have a feeling he's just really good. Probably going to lose him. We should probably start thinking about this. Is that a common?
Yeah. I think it goes back to that initial conversation. Hey, I know Arty is a junior. He's draft eligible. He's your Friday night guy. Hey, we're going to take him, but we know he's probably going to head out. So let's stay in communication. Hey, Arty, are you going to go in the 17th round?
Yeah.
Or is it 8th round or bust? What's that? Where's your threshold here?
Right,
hey, are you going to sign for a bag of, a pair of cleats, or are you So I think that communication piece is huge. But yes, there's a lot of hey, I know I'm leaving Brian Hendry got drafted by the Yankees last year. Absolutely. That was one of the coolest players to see because he was sitting 96, 97. I mean, there was 98.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
With control.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable watching him throw that baseball 10 yards away. When going into the coming from Oklahoma State, he was at St. John's previously. He was gonna go. I mean, you're sitting 96, you're gonna get picked up. So Chuck kind of knew, hey, we're only gonna get this guy for this amount of time. Then you make the decision, hey, do you want to do that? And the answer was yes for him. Sam Costigan, who was an Air Force kid, who just got, he's second team All-American as a second baseman. I've never seen that guy play anything but first base, DH, maybe outfield.
Never did second base.
He's the best hitter in the country. I mean, he's 100 plus hits.
That's awesome.
So, but a guy like that, where hey, he's leaving on July 8th.
Right.
So it's a matter of do you want to do that? And if we are going to do that, Bill Belichick, next man up. We have that plan there. So, it's like Arty, you said you have a lot of experience with the Cape. Those teams are they almost have two teams. They have one team before the College World Series gets done, and then they have the College World Series team that basically flips on over.
Yeah. It's just it's just a task. I feel like to manage a collegiate team is probably a lot more stressful than managing a major league team because you're doing it in such a small period of time and you have very limited what you can access and get to. You know what I mean? So and to be like obviously having 7 championships pretty impressive with those restrictions put upon you. It's like kind of like, well, it's like, all right, we're trying to do the impossible because we're not knowing what this guy's gonna do. And like we were talking about earlier, it's great when they get drafted. It looks great for the team. He played for us. Now he's going to be playing for the Milwaukee Brewers as a starting pitcher or whatever. And it just because we're looking through the stats of some of these guys going to the Hall of Fame on February 16th. And I mean they played minor league ball. Some played major league ball. I mean it's that alone. I always say that baseball is one of those sports where it's easy to get into, but it's harder to make that jump from step to step. Like, for example, if you're a football player, you're either good or you're bad, and no one's ever going to look at you. Maybe you'll be a practice squad. But baseball you can kind of build your ability and become better just because of all the levels they have as you work your way up. And, and like you said, all these, especially when you get to the minor leagues, you're playing these small little towns in the middle of nowhere, and I went to a Hickory Crawdaddies game in the middle of North Carolina. It's a 1A ball team for the Rangers, and I mean, there's nothing around there. And I'm sitting there in the ball game, looking at these kids, and I'm like, these guys probably. I'm looking at the stat sheet, from California, some are from Latin American countries and stuff, and all of a sudden they got picked up and dropped in the middle of the mountains of North Carolina, and they have to perform. And forget about all the other stuff they have going on at home and all this stuff and be able just to focus in. And I think that which makes baseball one of the most impressive sports to be able to do very well in because there's a lot more obstacles you have to deal with.
Think about testing the love. The love is shown in that scenario like you just described.
Absolutely.
Who really loves this game to stick it out in the 97-degree weather in Hickory, North Carolina. With 7 fans in the stadium. We love Hickory. We love Hickory.
Hey, listen. Hey,
talk about being dedicated though. I know. I don't know if this is true, but I remember I was at a Navigators game and they were playing Martha's Vineyard. And me and my dad were actually just talking to some of the players, and one of them said, again, I don't know if this is true, but if it is true, I was like, that's insane, that they would have to go home to Martha's Vineyard. Now, remember, you can't just drive there. You take a ferry. Right. So they would have to go home. I can already
tell where this is going. Yeah, it's true.
That night, and then I think they were playing you guys the next day. and they would have to, but they would still have to go home, take the ferry, but then the next day go to play you guys Rhode Island. And I'm like, that's insane. Why wouldn't they just put you in a hotel like midway? And I'm just like, you have to really love the game and really.
Come on,
I know it's nuts.
Hotels.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know exactly, but that's what I realized. I was like, it's not like, but it's like that. You have to. But my point is, you have to really, really love the game and be able to just endure that to go
And that's
all the way
why-
back home.
And that's why these leagues are a test of that, because if the Royals call up the general manager of Martha's Vineyard and says, "Hey, we want to take Adam Mallett in the 4th round here. We're going to give up.
Stop.
Yeah, we're going to give him $2 million. Hey, I know you guys got to go on the ferry each and every night. He's a pitcher. He only played 4 or 5 games. Was he on that ferry every night? Or was he groaning and moaning? Hey, I got to stay back and do my this. Or I want to stay with my host family. Or I want to go downtown to Martha's Vineyard. What was he like? And if it was, oh, coach, hey, so-and-so scout, that kid was the first on the ferry, the last one picking up trash, okay, then, those are the kind of stories you get out of college baseball, because the stats are there. We've talked about it 3 or 4 times. The numbers are there, but was he on the bus to North Shore? He come back on the ferry. He didn't pitch the night before. He's not going to pitch the next day. Was he there? Was he at summer camp that morning before they had to get on the ferry? How was he with the kids? Like, that's the stuff that is not on the
it's not on the numbers. Yeah, it's not on it's not on the numbers. Yep.
And it's testing you. And I think that it's one of the arguments you have with I have it with my mom all the time. I'm sure you guys have it with your friends and family members too. Oh, he struck out. He's getting paid all this money. I can't believe he's not.
Especially my mother.
These guys go through a lot. These guys have done it and paid their dues too to get where they are.
No,
maybe that's not everybody. Of course, you have some guy, whatever, the anomalies. But for the most part, these guys have put in a lot of effort and a lot of their lives to get to that point in the major leagues. To Arty's point, hey, it's easy enough to get there, but it's harder to stay. It's
hardest thing to do is hit a baseball. Yeah.
I bartended with a guy who played. He was a few years younger than myself. He got drafted by the Blue Jays, played for the Blue Jays, made the AA ball, got injured, got cut, then got picked up by, I think it was maybe the Mets or something like that, and got up to like 1A ball, blew his arm out. Met a girl he was with the entire time. At this point, he's 25, 26, years old. She gives him the ultimatum: you're going to play baseball on the summer all your life, or we're going to do this, right? So he ended up moving to Long Island, played for the Ducks for a couple of years during the summer. And then
that's my hometown. That's what we
did. Right? Yeah.
We didn't have summer ball. We had the Long Island Ducks, baby.
So the independent league, right? Yeah. And then he
sure.
pitched for them for a couple of years, and then they won the championship. Oh God, I don't know what year it was, and that was his last year. He retired and said he called it a day because it's tough. Because we used to have conversations all the time, and I talk about the small money you make playing like independent league and minor leagues and stuff, and you have to weigh it like, all right, if you're with someone, they're going to expect you to you can't be doing this your entire life unless you have the ability to move up, or because that's the toughest part. I think is like when you're in that middle, is like to continue pushing forward, or do you just say, hey, listen, you can't do this, and you need a supportive person to help you along. And if you do really have the talent and you do have the actual ability to be able to make it to the next level, I think it's very important that you just keep on pushing forward, like anything else in life. The more you do it, the better you're going to be at it. And I would hate to be a 26-year-old AA guy sitting there with a conversation like that, knowing that you still have a few more years you possibly could make it, but like, is it worth? It's tough. I can't imagine that. Like in their minds,
How do you give up something all you know is this, right? You've been doing it since you're 4 years old, 5 years old, fall, spring, summer. Right. So not only is it something that you truly passionate about and you want, and you're almost there, but like that's all you know. Right. So how do you get out of that? Yeah, no, it's a difficult question. I mean, us three didn't have to answer that, unfortunately.
Thank God. Yeah, we're signing my son up for T-ball in the spring. He's 4 years old. So, me and him might be having a conversation 20 years from now about this. But, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep on playing, or is there a girl telling you got to quit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a very real conversation.
But so the schedule came out last night. Adam and I had a copy of it. We're looking through it. Like you said, there's a 4th of July game, which you guys usually don't have, which is awesome. And looks like you're finishing off the season on the weekend. Looks like 2 Saturday and a Sunday game going into hopefully which would be the playoffs, which you guys hopefully would be in. That'd be nice.
Yep.
How do you feel about the schedule? Is it? I feel like I was looking at the last few years' schedule. They seem pretty much uniform. You're playing the same amount of the teams the same amount of times usually. Is it done by geographic locations to make it easy for you guys to get around, or is it more like heavy on the statistics from the prior year kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean three divisions. We got the North, the West, and the Coastal. Gulls playing the Coastal, which has 5 teams in it. And yeah, geographical is how we separate the divisions. And then we play all the out of division teams home and home. So we play them twice. We'll go to Vermont once. They'll come to us once. And then we play the teams in league 7 times. I think we play one of the teams 8 times, something like that. Kind of varies. But yes, I mean, done by the computer. They make the whole schedule. And the Gulls are very fortunate that, we have the city of Newport owns Cardines Field, and there's so many other leagues and teams that use it. So to be fair and work it out, the Gulls play Monday, Wednesday, Friday at home. Is when we're allowed to get the field. But there's, certain occasions. There's that July 4th on a Thursday. There's a Friday. When you talk about, hey, are you happy with the schedule? I was disappointed that we're not playing that. And that Friday, July 26th is that last Friday of the year. Because that's always a big night, end of the season, Friday. But we have those 2 Saturday and Sunday games, which I'm hoping is a little change up. Fun type of thing to do. We never have games Saturdays and Sundays, so Saturday night could be kind of fun. But yeah, no, I'm it's a tough week. There's a week in there. There's a week in there where we go to Vermont, we go to Sanford, and we go to like North Adams or something. So you talk about wanting it. And it's the dog days too. I think that's in mid-July. They go. I think they play all week. Yeah, they play. Yeah. They play Monday to Saturday.
Ooh.
Then the All-Star game, which is in Bristol. We go North Shore home, go to Vermont, home game, go to Keene, New Hampshire, home game against Mystic, go to Sanford, Maine, and then those All-Stars, however many we get, are going to Bristol on that Sunday.
Ooh.
Well, if you weren't from New England, and these kids, they're going to get very well known with New England after that week. I can say that much.
I know, right?
Yeah, that'll be a doozy. That one. But it is what it is. It's schedule's the schedule, right?
And you just the bus. I mean, we've all taken long bus rides before, but it's a long. I would love to do the math on see how many miles and hours these kids are on the bus for the entire 2 months of ball, It'd be amazing.
Arty, remember when we were young though, we could do that and we could probably handle that and be fine. It's like you got time. You got time on your hands.
It'd be fun. I know. You figure out things to do to kill time, I guess,
You and I are like, oh my God, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Well, guys, think about the unfortunately we're doing it the second to last week of the season, but I mean, you look at the past couple of years' schedules. We went to Vermont like that first week.
Yeah.
How great for building team camaraderie is that? True. Hey guys, absolutely. You're from all over the country. You don't know who so and so is. You're on a bus with them for 4 hours up to Vermont and 4 hours back. Get to know each other. Hey,
for sure.
That's summer ball too. That's one of those beauties of it. And the bus rides, like you guys are gonna have former players, incoming players, guys who played summer ball, guys who haven't played summer ball. You're on the podcast. That's one of the things that they talk about. Hey, the bus rides were. I'll never forget the bus ride, especially after you win a championship. You never forget the bus ride home.
All right, yeah.
So those are some of the best moments playing the games that they play, and also it's an experience that I know our folks feel very passionately about, because a couple of years ago we did away with the home and home. It was more of a COVID restriction, because as you remember, all the different states had different restrictions. So somebody from Rhode Island like couldn't go to Vermont. There were some of those like things that they had in place. But so we did away with it, and then the question was, hey, do we want to continue with this? Because of Arty's point, you say, hey, I would love to do the mileage. Teams were doing that because they were figuring out their bus expense, and it was way cheaper for the teams not to play out of division. But we felt very passionately, at least here in Newport, and a lot of the other teams felt very passionately that, hey, if Adam's from Stillwater, Oklahoma, he's never seen the trees of Keene. He's never been up to New Hampshire. He's never seen the mountains that are in the Berkshires over in North Adams. He's never. So why? That's part of the experience that this is. I mean, it is baseball, of course, but it's an experience for them because I'll never forget. I was an intern, and I did. I was on pickup duty actually. He's one of the Chuck was in Portugal at the time. He was on business in Portugal during the season. I was picking up Blake Pattonfield. I was an intern, super just, hey, what can I do? So gung-ho to do anything. Blake was coming in from the College World Series from Oklahoma State, and I went to go pick him up from Logan Airport. And Chuck was out of the country. I didn't get the text that his flight was delayed until whatever time it was. So I'm sitting there, then I finally get to Logan, and all right, I figure out that the flight's delayed, all this and that. And it's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever. We're driving back to Newport, and he's just chatting. He's like, yeah, no, I've never seen the ocean. He just got done.
That's true. Yeah. Oh shit.
Like, so just little things like that. It was and that's when it first was like, wow, this is bigger than 20 games at Cardines Field.
Right. Yeah. God, yeah. You don't even think of that, right? It's like Tom Brady said, he didn't know where New England was when he got drafted. Like he never been up there. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's crazy when you think about something like that, right? It's true.
I know. No, I was gonna say I know we're getting closer to winding down, and I have 2 questions in my mind that I just got to get out there for you. 1, favorite baseball player of all time.
Oh,
go. Who is it? You gotta pick one.
I gotta pick one.
I feel you got it. You gotta pick one. All time.
I mean, I can't in all reality say just like, this is my guy, but I can give you like a little handful of who my guys are. And the one that obviously sticks out to me, just because it's personal, is Joe McEwing. I don't know if you know Joe McEwing.
Yes.
He hit a home run in my first game ever at Shea Stadium.
Sentimental. I get it.
Sentimental there, but also, he played so many different positions. He was such a great baseball mind. So Joe McEwing hops off the page immediately for me. It stays big time with the Mets. Mike Piazza. It was got to be one of those guys. I was a catcher growing up. I was a catcher. Mike Piazza.
Respect. Drafted as a favorite at Tommy Lasorda, one of the last guys drafted. So wait till he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I think that those guys for sure. But I'm an old time. I'm an old timer as well. Ozzie Smith, I think, brought so much spark to the game.
Wizard of Oz. Yep.
So it's really I
love it.
That question, I'm sorry, I don't have, because
those are good ansers, man. I mean, there's no discrimination here. I mean,
I hate saying it because it's just like I love so much about baseball.
Yeah.
That like just guys that stick out are like Ryan Howard, like his swing and just hit he was on the Phillies and I still liked him. He was
a great player, but he was either strikeout or home run.
2008 World Series.
It was either gone or in the kitchen.
But it was more like now that's like. That's the recipe, right? Now that's the recipe. Back then it was like, oh, this guy strikes out too much,
Yeah. But would you rather strike out or hit him with a double play? That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I'd rather strike out. That's what I always say.
Right.
How about you guys? Who are your guys' favorite players?
Arty?
I mean, my all-time favorite pitcher all the time is Roger Clemens. Love the guy. Watched him so many times. And then position players, this is crazy as a Red Sox fan, but Derek Jeter was always one of my favorite shortstops of all time. I liked him over A-Rod. I liked him over Nomar those years. I just thought this guy was a class act, 20 years in the league, playing for the same team, Mr. Consistent, never had any drama. Never could always count on the guy. his numbers decline a little bit as he got older, but that happens to everyone. But I always, and my grandfather and I used to talk about it. We used to talk about our secret love for Jeter because we didn't want too many people to know that we actually like baseball playing because he played.
You were at Fenway with
right?
the T-shirt underneath.
Yeah, right. It was like I would watch this guy play, and I was just so impressed by his just mannerisms and how he presented himself as a as an individual, as a baseball player and stuff, and on the field and off the field and stuff. And to me that was very important. And then Clemens, my point was, listen. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to hang in there, and he did what he had to do, and. He didn't have the numbers he was putting off when he was in the Red Sox in the first half of his career, but still, he was able to, put 20 years into the league and be consistent. And the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame breaks my heart every single day. But it is what it is.
Me, it is for a positional player, Ken Griffey Jr. I've never seen such a smooth swing in his swing is just like smooth like butter. It was amazing to watch, and even as an outfielder too, he was a great defensive player. Just the kid, and then he went to Cincinnati, and that was kind of. But in Seattle, he was awesome to watch. And pitching, I think it might be Clayton Kershaw in his prime because here's the thing: I'm a sucker for a 12-6 breaking ball that just makes a hitter pause, and they think it's coming in high and it just dips down right in the catcher's mitt, and they're caught looking, and it's just like there's no better moment than that. I just love when that happens. And I know coming up, I used to follow him in the minor leagues, and I used to see him drop a 12-6 on somebody, and it was like, that was like one of the best I'd ever seen at the time.
Well, if we're talking 12-6s, you can't not bring up Barry Zito, man.
You're not wrong. You're definitely right. Oh God, no, perfect. But he had perfect precision too, because he didn't have velocity. He had to drop it perfectly, kind of like Keith Folk with his changeup. Keith Folk had a changeup that always like 2 mile/hour off from his fastball, but he could locate it, and the hitters could not tell the difference. It was awesome.
Yeah. No, those are my some of my guys. And I'm sure there's other ones like again.
Oh yeah, right.
For so many little
pitching. Yeah.
Little things,
No, Mike, the Gulls, right? I mean, we're looking at what we're wearing right now. You get a little bit more of a love for him because of the Mets colors too, right? Is that why?
Dude, it just worked out, man. It worked out. Yeah, it really did. I mean, I look at my closet, and it was funny. Somebody we play basketball in the morning, and I look at my outfit a lot of the time, and it's like Mets, Gulls shorts, Mets shirt, Gulls thing. My sister went to Syracuse, so
the orange
and blue.
All right. Okay.
Islanders, orange and blue. Like my wardrobe is just filled with just sports.
Yeah.
B, orange and blue just consistently. So it worked. Yeah, it worked out in that regard.
Perfect, right? It's like
exactly.
But hold on, I got my last question. I got to ask though. It's been lingering in my brain. The poster behind you with that ring. Is that the ring you guys got?
That is the ring we got. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Actually, that's pretty
that
nice.
Is awesome.
Collegiate ball. It's pretty cool.
That is the ring. Yeah,
awesome.
I'm sorry, I didn't bring it. I don't have it here in the office.
That is awesome.
It's a boulder. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah, no, it's quite the ring. It is awesome, and I mean that was just such a culmination for me. To your point with the Mets. I mean, I'm a Mets fan, an Islanders fan, and New Jersey, now Brooklyn Nets fan. I'll admit it. I'll admit it, guys. I mean, was a Jets fan. Football is like the least of my cares. Like I didn't watch. I don't know if I've watched the second of the playoffs.
Yeah,
I couldn't really tell you. I don't follow football. I follow football, the real football, the beautiful game. But that's like winning this championship and it's the first thing I've ever really won. I won like a JV basketball championship and a couple Little League championships. But so that was a really cool moment. But yeah, that's the ring. You got it. You'll see it when you guys come down for the Hall of Fame.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's gonna be fun. We'll get to see some greats from the past. The
greatest, Mike Coombs, the greatest to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, we were looking at so many. We were going over it the other day at work about all the people going in, and everything's pretty cool. And it's just really fun experience.
You're supposed to say that. I don't think you're supposed to say that you were going over that at work on company time. You can cut that part, right?
They don't watch. They already know we do shows anyways, right?
Yeah.
They actually encourage it.
It's just like a good coach. Hey, I don't care what you guys do before the
Right.
game, after the game. Come ready to play.
That's right. That's what we've been doing for years at this
Great
point.
advice.
So
Bring the A game. Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, appreciate you guys, hopping on, joining the Gulls family. It's so cliche. All these companies, they say family, they say that, it really, and I'm going through the process right now of hiring the interns, so many applicants and so many conversations, and it really, really resonated. I mean, from the top down, from Chuck, Crit, all those guys, just really set up such a strong bond and a strong atmosphere down here that by the end of the season, you guys are starting up here in January, February.
yeah.
By the season, you'll have that feeling. But I say it again, I said it to all, it's the best summer of your life. I mean, it's a lot. It's a hard work. It's a lot. It's hard work for you guys putting this the show on, editing, getting all the guests, all that type of stuff. But it really, you look back, and that's why this poster over my head. You look back, you're like, wow, that was special. That was fun. That family is we're looking forward to getting everybody together at the Hall of Fame. Looking forward to seeing everybody at Cardines Field. But no, Len, looking forward to seeing this podcast. What should fans expect? What's the game plan here for you guys, and where you want to take the Gulls Nest?
Well, I mean, if it's anything that we've done in the past, it's bringing people in. It's getting stories, getting deeper than baseball sometimes, learning where they're from, learning what they like, what they love, what inspired them to play baseball at this point, what they're doing with their lives outside of baseball, which I think is important. I think people like to relate to that because they know, like, you're just a regular Joe playing ball, and to like Adam and I were talking about, looking over the schedule prior to you joining us, about places we, on some of the road games, checking the team out on the road, seeing how they do, just seeing the other facilities other than Newport, and I think it'll be a fun couple weeks of baseball, and hopefully a couple months rather. I'm sorry, of baseball, and hopefully into the playoffs, and which would be really fun, getting a lot of material going into the play, right? So.
Yeah.
I know you're 1 year off, but we'll
I know,
don't want to jinx it.
I'm not saying anything.
Mike Basile that was my childhood friend. We grew up in the same town back on Long Island. He got involved last year helping run the media. Arty, Mike, Adam hasn't met him yet, but the dang kid comes in last year and we win a championship. I've been doing this for how long, and we haven't won. And he was the beginner's luck last year. Maybe you guys bring us some more, and we do it. We back to back it on your first.
That'd be nice.
So
I like that.
do we get this if you guys finish last?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
maybe.
That's the Mike Falcone curse. Believe me, we were.
Oh no.
2017 didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was the most talented team and most pro guys that I've been a part of was 2017. You talk about that roster, JC Flowers, Eric Miller, JJ Blade, Cameron Meisner. I mean, that team was loaded, but everybody got here at the end of July or at the end of June. And by the time we finished the season on like a 7-game winning streak, we were so hot. We missed the playoffs, though. I have no doubt in my mind we would have won the championship. But yeah, we didn't make the playoffs in 17, which was my first year. We lose in 2018. We lose in 2019 in the league championship, the Southern Division championship. 2020 nothing. 21 made a little push, but obviously lost there. And then in 2022, we lose in the 1-game playoff, which the playoff format switched, and we lost game 1 this year too, so we would have been out as well. So unfortunately, when I got involved in 2016 till last year, it was kind of the curse on my part. So point being, I don't know if they just didn't have anybody else, but they kept me around enough to win one.
There you go.
They're keeping me for the most part right now. So I don't think your jobs are predicated on a championship, but it would be nice. I'll tell you that much.
It'd be awesome.
But I tell you, I am superstitious. I am.
Yeah.
So
I think anyone likes baseball is, right? Yeah, everything gets a whole big superstitious thing. So
yeah.
Well, Mike,
yeah,
thanks for joining us tonight. It was awesome talking to you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
To multiple weeks of collegiate baseball. Hey, we're gonna pioneer this stuff. Every other collegiate league's gonna be looking at the Gulls and be like, "Damn, we should have done stuff like this," because
I hope so.
People involved, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm
looking forward to this.
That's the plan. Great, good stuff, guys.